I'm starting college soon. This is a question that I got. I'm starting college soon and I want to work in marketing. Should I major in marketing or not?
Conversations on marketing, media,
and getting your story straight.
I got this question from essentially it was a parent that had approached me and they were talking about their kid who is hustling, working in marketing stuff. Was asking me, hey, what should they do? I'm like, hey, you know what? Why don't we meet up and we'll talk about it? And it was a question of should he major in marketing in order to do work in marketing. There's really 3 or 4 fields in which it would make sense. Pay for college so that you can get a job in that area, right? In terms of it being worth it. In those 4 areas, and I'll tell you what those 4 areas are, is going back to the fundamental categories of sales, categories of books, seminars, and things like that, workshops that people spend money to buy on the regular. And those 4 categories have to do with health and wellness, relationships, wealth and finance, or wealth and career, and lastly has to do with spirituality. These are the 4 areas in which that people spend money to improve themselves. Generally speaking, in terms of jobs, you would otherwise not be able to do, except that you went to school for that. In terms of health and wellness, specifically in the medical field, doctor, right? You need special kind of technical residency and apprenticeship and so on in order to get that. So if you want to get into the medical field, yes, do whatever your major is, but like you're gonna have to go to school for that. And people will pay you well, generally speaking, for that kind of career. The second category, relationships. Relationships at the end of the day comes down to contracts, legal, corporate legal, family law, divorce, all of these things. Like people, you're gonna need the licensing, you need degrees, college education for that, and it may be worth, spending for the education in that space. The third category, wealth and finance, it is accounting. You'll have a job, get a CPA, CFA, any one of these kind of like other licensings and whatnot. Like there's going to be jobs available, and you're going to need that in order to be able to do that kind of work. And then the fourth category, in the spiritual side, depends on the specific religious affiliation that one might have. I know amongst the Jewish and Christian communities, like pastors get paid pretty well, right? Generally speaking, and you're not going to really become a pastor except that you have the appropriate training and background. However, in the Muslim community, especially in the United States, it's not necessarily lucrative. However, if you do a good job in terms of doing the studies, and we're talking, a decade-long worth of study and whatnot, really make yourself stand out. Again, it could be relatively well-paid position that requires you education. Now, the spiritual side would be a combination of traditional as well as contemporary education, going overseas in some sort of traditional setup, also learning the language of the scriptures, and combine that with applicable complementary understanding, i.e. psychology or finance or whatever that would allow you to do what you're doing as a pastoral professional. These are the 4 categories that make sense to dish out money for that education so that you can get a job in those areas. Notice how marketing is not there. My background personally, I actually started my undergrad in economics, specifically because I wanted to get into financial trading and things like that. When I realized that wasn't really a viable career for myself, I kind of ended up getting out of that. And later, I was like, you know what? I just might as well just pick up marketing. And I concluded my education in marketing. Not because I wanted to get a job in marketing, only because culturally and socially, it would be unacceptable for me to not have a college degree. And I literally just did it for that. I literally just went to school part-time, 1 to 2 classes a semester. 7.5 years later, graduated with a bachelor's degree. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention there's one more category. Could be umbrellaed under the whole medical stuff. Anything in the area of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Engineering is a good default degree that makes an individual potentially employable. Engineering is all about mindset, process thinking that would enable you to then upgrade into some sort of master's education if you want to get into management. But if you don't, you want to be technical and so on, then that's great. And if you take that engineering degree and thinking process and apply it to any other field, it works out really well, especially in the area of marketing. If you go into marketing with an engineering mindset, you'll be very effective, really. You want to do marketing? Great, go do marketing. Continue to develop the skills that you don't need college for. What you learn in college about marketing is already outdated just by the virtue and the process of how information gets into the university halls. By the time it's published in the textbooks, it's already outdated. I paid my way through school doing work and services in the area of HTML web design and multimedia stuff. That brings me to my next question of like, okay, so what kind of work can you do, especially when you're starting out, high school student, a young college student, you want to do marketing work, skills that would get you to pay the bills in the area of marketing. Generally speaking, there's really three categories, right? Category number one has to do with your ability to produce multimedia. That's the future. Learn how to produce multimedia, and you can do it well, you can do it effectively, you can do it efficiently, under budget and ahead of schedule. You're gonna be gold. How do I get clients? In my experience, if you are unknown, right? Because at the end of the day, coming back to marketing is all about, like, the efforts that you do in marketing is to build your reputation, to build your brand, so that you don't have to do so much marketing. You want the clients to come to you as opposed to you going to the prospective clients. And that's what at the end of the day is to build a reputation. You want to be known for being able to do something, then go ahead and do it for free. That's how I got a lot of my clients. I would literally just volunteer my time and energy, do work, boom, here's my contribution to supporting your mission, your vision, with the skill sets that I have. Bam. Did that a couple times. They're like, yo, can you work with us? Like, yeah, let's do it. Here's a proposal, put together a contract. And boom, that's how I have historically, personally gotten clients and contracts. It's very effective. It requires work, for sure. If you're going to go out and be like, hey, look, I could do XYZ work for you because I've done it for so many other people. Here's my portfolio. That could also work as well. But if you're not very good at sales and you'd rather just do the work than focus on doing the work, it's a matter of what would work for you potentially. But multimedia is definitely one. Presenting and selling is a whole skill set on its own. It's your ability to prepare, engage, listen, understand what it is that the people are looking for, be truthful and honest as to whether or not what you offer and provide would help them achieve that. And if that is the case, then boom, you put together a proposal and there you have it. And the third category has to do with writing, copywriting, sales, advertising. At the end of the day, you have to understand what skills do you need to acquire. And these are the three areas: being able to write, being able to present, being able to produce multimedia. If you're able to do any one of these three areas, then you can start building income and revenue, especially if you are a late high school, early college student. And imagine doing that for the next 4 to 5 years. And by the time you're done with school, you've already built a portfolio. Heck, you probably have a job. And you most likely, that's what happened in my case. 2 years into college, I'm working full time. Most of that money was going to pay for college for this degree. Well, what if I want to work for a marketing agency? That's a different scenario. But even then, if you can showcase that you are a good account manager or you're a good designer, like multimedia stuff, right? And multimedia is also broad, like video, graphics, audio, even further specialized in any one of those areas, and be so good. Like, if you can't be the best, then be good enough so you could be a service provider. Oh, and the last bit, the engineering kind of mindset, that would be a good complement, especially in the area of advertising. One of the things I find annoying is when people mention like digital advertising. Like, everything is digital. If you're doing something that is non-digital, that's actually the outlier. That is the exception, right? You're gonna go do design and stuff for billboards and whatnot. Well, like, that's like old school. All effective communication is digital, so by default you can just drop the word digital. However, if you're looking for a job, probably have the word digital in there, so that might be a keyword that you might want to stand out for. But at the end of the day, it's all digital. But the factor that goes into the digital advertising is about lead generation. Can you buy attention? Take that attention that you've bought either through Facebook or Instagram or Google AdWords or whatnot, put against it any kind of multimedia, creative, audio, video, text, graphic, what have you. Is that creative good enough, depending on who you got the creative from? Does that drive traffic? Does that generate leads? Does that help produce sales? And a lot of the conversion factor has to do with where they're going after they click on the ad. It has to do with the multimedia presentation, the text copy, the headlines. Does it funnel the right kind of people, which is also dependent on the kind of targeting that you have, right? I'm already kind of explaining to you the various things that you need to know how to do in terms of skill sets. If you could do that, then you're gonna have clients, you're gonna have jobs coming at you, and you'll be able to do this kind of work effectively. Hope that answers the question. And if you got any more in relation to what you should, if you're a young college kid or or high schooler or even a young professional starting out, let me know. That's about it. Take care, guys.
Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe, like, and share with your friends, and I'll see you soon.